Okay, so here we are with the second half of Season 5, wasting no time, Carousel Boutique. No, Canterlot Boutique. Carousel Boutique is the name of the one, the shop she has in Ponyville. This is the Canterlot Boutique, and I don't remember if she had a name for it, like if it was just the Canterlot Boutique, or if, I think it was Canterlot Carousel is what she was calling it. That sounds right. Yeah, I think that's correct. Okay, anyways. Rarity finally gets to open her store in Canterlot, which is one of the things she's always wanted. Like, I want to be a world-famous designer. I want to have a store in Canterlot. I believe in a later season, she also gets to open a third location in Manehattan. And, you know, she's the designer for Sapphire Shores, who's one of the biggest, the second biggest, but one of the biggest pop stars in all of Equestria. She does costumes for Broadway show, Bridal Way, whatever, for big musicals. She is the type of pony every pony should know. And that's a fun reference to make, because I think this is, at least in terms of solo outings, simple ways, like, maybe gives it a contender as a non-solo outing. This is Rarity's best episode for me since Sweet and Elite. And it's the first of her trilogy, because she has 3 episodes in a row, one with by a solo, one with Rainbow Dash, and then one with Applejack. But in this one, she opens up her store in Canterlot. She has an assistant named Sassy Saddles, who, what I love about this character and the relationship with Rarity is I feel like it's something where neither of them is in the right and neither of them is particularly wrong. What Rarity wants is, I love making dresses. I love that feeling of inspiration when creativity just grabs you and I have to make something. And I make something that fits my vision and my creative standards. Her rules of rarity, as she calls them. And I don't remember what her rules are. I think one was couture. I think one was time. I don't remember what the first one was, unless the first one was time. I'm not a hundo. But she's got, like, her rules. Like, this is the thing I want to do when I am making my dresses. And my favorite part of the process is when I see the look in a customer's eyes when they find the dress that speaks to them. And I know I have made someone happy. I have given them something that they are going to use, whether it's for one night or 20 or 200. I have done something and made them happy. Sassy Saddles wants the boutique to be a success. Like, what we need is a signature design that when people see it, they think of Rarity, they think of the Canterlot Carousel, and it's so big and so popular that they have to have it. And that will be the dress you make the most of. It might be the only dress you end up making for a while. And when you do that, like when you are making order after order of the same thing, because everyone in town wants one, and just in case something happens to that one, they'll want two, you will have been a success. So Rarity goes from, I love making this, like, I love making dresses and seeing people's reactions to them, to, I'm now working at I'm just an assembly line. I am making the exact same dress 100 times, and then another 100. There are no rules of rarity anymore. I'm not putting my soul into this. I don't feel like I have passion. I'm just a cog in a machine of my own design. And I love that. I think there's something super interesting here. Like, I feel like this episode, what it's going for with its moral is, maybe, even though something is your dream, you might not be able to achieve it in the way that you're hoping. And maybe you have to adapt to your dream, or find a way to adapt your dream to who you are. This is an episode about how maybe your dream isn't exactly what you want it to be. or I guess it's the difference between doing something as a hobby and doing something as a passion versus doing it as a job. You know, something I see a lot of, or I've been like hearing a lot about recently, like a lot of famous YouTubers stepping away and retiring, and you do hear a lot about burnout and the difference between I do this because I was really enjoying it and then it became a job, and like any job, I fucking hated it because it went from something I enjoyed doing to just, I'm doing this to make a living, and boy does it become soul crushing. And I find that super interesting. There's definitely points where Sassy Saddles is maybe a little too pushy with her presentation, and she's trying to be the person working the door when Rarity's like, I mean, A, that's my favorite part. 2, I'm good with people. 3, I'm the boss. Maybe I should be doing that shit. Where it's like, yeah, I mean, she's by no means the villain of the episode, because she's clearly not a bad person, and the show doesn't be like, yeah, well, she's awful, blah, 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 the way it does with, like, Flim and Flam or Trixie or anyone like that. What I do like is how at the end of the episode, Rarity's like, you know what? You and I clearly have very different visions for what success is for this place, but I do think your heart is in the right place, so I do want to keep you around. In fact, like, I'm not going to be moving to Canterlot. Like, Ponyville's still my home base, but I do need someone to oversee the store. Could you do that for me? Just to make, and it's like, yeah, like, I'll still be here for, like, big events, for all that kind of shit. Like, I'm not completely giving you the store, but I am going to give you a bit more free reign, because I feel like that's probably how you work best, just so long as, you know, don't do anything I wouldn't do kind of thing. And I just really love this episode. Again, it's kind of like with Amending Fences. I'm like, I don't know if I'm quite doing it justice, talking about how much I loved it, but I thought it was fantastic. It was just one of those, like, I feel like I'm really engrossed in the conflict of this episode, and it's something I talked about with Kiki's Delivery Service and why it's a movie I absolutely fucking love. It's about what happens when you lose your creative spark. And it's something Rarity goes through, and, like, what is it that brings her spark back, and etc., etc. Also, I'm like, that pony is just Raven, so I'm assuming that one is just Starfire, and I think that's just fucking neat. This is for sure an A. Do I want to give it an S? I don't know. I'm tempted to. I'll say this. It's the best of these three. It's the S tier of the Rarity episodes, and I think all of them are pretty good. I can at least justify it like that. I'll keep it an S. I don't know. I guess this would also be S, because, like, I think it's the best Pinkie episode. But, I don't know. I think this feels okay here. Maybe it should be here, but I want to keep it. Fuck, I'm sorry. That face is so funny. I don't think so. This feels right, though. Rarity Investigates, which is a sequel to Canterlot Boutique, because it starts with her in Canterlot in her boutique with Sassy Saddles. So the plot of this episode, Rainbow Dash is a Wonderbolt reserve, which is something we know from testing. And there is a big Wonderbolt event. I don't remember what they said it was for, if it was like for a charity or some shit. But there's this thing where a bunch of Wonderbolts are going to fly, and an old retired Wonderbolt named Windrider, I think they said he is retired, who, I don't know who voices him, but something about the way, like, he looks and sounds makes me think that it's Chris Pine. I'm, like, 90% sure it's not, but I'm like, is that Chris Pine? Windrider is this older Wonderbolt. He seems like he's one of Rainbow Dash's favorites. He's very well regarded, very well respected. And during kind of like a meet and greet, it's mentioned that Rainbow Dash might break his record, his like long distance flight record. And he seems not happy about it, but he kind of makes the comment like, you know, like, that's the thing with records, they're meant to be broken, but it seems pretty clear that he's not happy about it. The next day, Spitfire disappears, and she received a letter from her mom saying, hey, I'm really fucking sick. Can you, like, Can you go do something about it? And then Spitfire's mom shows up to the event like, no, I'm not sick. I'm completely fine. I wanted to see my daughter fly. What the fuck is going on? Everyone looks at Rainbow Dash and says, okay. Rainbow Dash, you're here as a reserve, as an alternate. So if one of us is unable to fly, you would be the one doing it. With Spitfire gone, you get to fly with the Wonderbolts, essentially as a member of the Wonderbolts, with your hero Windrider. This looks really fucking bad for you. What I do like is Soren is kind of the one in charge of the Wonderbolts here, with Spitfire gone, and again, Windrider, I believe, being retired. He's essentially like, look, I want you to prove your innocence. If you're found guilty under our bylaws, like, you are stripped from being a Wonderbolt, like, you will never be able to properly join our ranks, like, you're fucked. I hope for your sake this is a misunderstanding, because, boy, this is malicious. Like, someone wanted Spitfire to leave. They are either setting you up, or you did this and you're an idiot who didn't think these things through. Gee, Rainbow Dash being an idiot who doesn't think things through. Totally out of character. So, as per the title, Rarity Investigates. She has multiple outfits. One is like the detective outfit. One is the femme fatale seductress outfit. There's another one. I don't remember what it is. Where it's basically like, yeah, Rarity was watching the Maltese Falcon. What is it? It's something Spade. I don't remember. It's like Sassy Spade or some shit. And I'm like, okay. So, it's kind of like Sam Spade, but also I can't help but think of Spade Slick. And my single favorite joke in Homestuck, the time oven. I am not going to elaborate on the time oven, but it is my favorite thing in Homestuck. So, Rarity does her investigation, and through the investigation and her methods, Rainbow Dash is like, I don't think you're taking this that seriously, and my future is on the line. Please be more serious about this. Like, I'm freaking out. I'm getting to the point where I started to think I did it because of all the evidence, but I know I didn't, and I'm fucking scared. And by the end of the episode, wouldn't you know it, it was fucking Windrider. He didn't want Rainbow Dash to beat his record. And, Rainbow Dash goes to get Spitfire, and they don't ever say this, but in my head, I'm just like, she broke his record while doing that, which is perfect fucking irony. That's delicious. I think if they had said that, this would be an S-tier episode, because that's just so perfect and delicious karma. But they don't, but this is a fun episode. It's an episode where I think the idea of Rarity being like going sleuthing is really fun. The different methods she employs. The fact that it's a noir style episode. There's a lot of times where it's just black and white with Rarity narrating, and at times she's narrating out loud. There's an episode of Amphibia that does this too. And, have you ever killed a man, Hot Pop? Which is a line from an earlier episode, but in this episode, Hot Pop does in fact fucking kill a man. And it's Amphibia, it's gold, and I think this episode is really, really funny. I don't know if I would say it's my, like, I can put it up here, because I think this is I like this episode more as a Rarity episode, but damn, it's fucking funny. Okay, so the last one was Rarity Takes Manehattan, so I think this is Made in Manehattan. This is Rarity and Applejack get called by the map to solve some friendship problem in Manehattan, excuse me. And, while also just being very touchy-feely with each other the entire time. Again, it's one of those episodes where I watch it and go, why were Applejack and Rainbow Dash the couple at the end? Like, I know Rarity has shown interest in stallions. You got Blue Blood and Trenderhoof. I mean, who's to say her barn door don't swing both ways? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's a one-way street, but I'm sorry. Like, anytime I see Rarity and Applejack interact, I'm like, how are these two not a couple? Like, they're so perfect. It's great. But they go to solve a problem, and it's our old friend Coco Pamel showing up again. And again, she's just, like, fucking adorable. I love it. she is trying to put on a like guerrilla theater performance kind of, and it's like this like if I'm remembering it, this is something that we do like every year, or like there was a person that did it every year, and now she doesn't do it anymore. I don't remember if like she passed away, she died, or she's just old. So I wanted to do it because I kind of wanted to bring the community together, but I'm having a lot of trouble. So can you help? And they do, with Applejack doing a bunch of manual labor, but she's able to do it, and it's through like her. It's not even like people see her working hard and they're like, "Huh, we should help with this." It's just like, yeah, she worked really hard, and I don't know, through the effort, I guess, it made people care more. That's kind of what Rarity is trying to say at the end. It's like, yeah, Applejack, that's why the map called you and not Twilight. Twilight could have snapped her fingers and like just fixed everything with magic, but you had to work for it. I'm like, yeah, that would make sense if people watched her work and then they joined in and it led to that sense of community, but that didn't happen. It was just the shit got fixed and then people watched the play because they wanted to watch the play. There was still the sense of community and everything. I'm like, I don't know if that quite made sense the way you think it did. A lot of the episode is Applejack just going, I don't know why the fuck I'm here. I mean, I know I got like family over here, but I'm not gonna go visit them. I just, like, I don't know. I think the episode's fine. I'm gonna put it in B. The reason I'm gonna put it in B and not leave it in C is it's just so pleasant. Like, there's just something about this. Like, I don't think it's particularly funny. Like, I don't think it's not like horribly unfunny or anything. It's fine, but it's so likable. I just kind of felt warm watching it. I'm like, that's what a good episode of Friendship is Magic does. It should just put me in a good mood and make me happy that I spent 20 minutes watching it. That's why this is down here. It's like, I didn't enjoy this. I watched it. I didn't enjoy it. These are here because, like, this kind of left me feeling nothing. This, I want to love, but I just can't because it's dumb. And this, I want to love, but just the writer in me is like, you kind of fucked up by not making it a Crusader-based episode, because that's kind of perfect, and I don't know, you maybe messed with your execution a bit, but I don't know. I think this episode is, I respect it more than I like it. I think that's fair. I don't know, maybe I should put this up in A. Because I don't know, this maybe feels a little low, but I also just don't think I enjoy it as much as these. And it's not even really a reason, but like, it's a good episode. It's just, I don't know. I think part of it is because fuck, the S tiers are so good. A lot of episodes are just kind of down a tier more than they normally would be. Brotherhooves Social. So this is an episode where, because Rarity and Applejack are out of town, they can't be at the Sisterhooves Social. So Sweetie Belle's like, well, I guess I'm fucked, and Apple Bloom's like, I'm fucked too, and Big Mac's like, look, I want to make my little sister happy. When she was younger, she used to look up to me, and like, I was her hero. And this is also, this is what he vocalizes at the end of the episode, but it's what he's thinking the entire time. He's like, Applejack is the hero of the family. Like, literally. She goes and she fucking saves the world. And I'm not mad at her for doing that. I'm not envious of my sister. I still love my sister. She's great. I'm glad we have someone in the family who kicks so much ass. I just wish our little sister still, I don't know, appreciated me, saw me more. I just wish I had something special about me. Because I don't. And I miss being my little sister's hero. So, with him thinking this, he's like, here's what I'm going to do. Because Granny Smith tells him, the definition of sister has always been very malleable. Is okay, I'm going to cross-dress as her cousin. What was it? Orange Blossom, I think? Her cousin, Orange Blossom. Because Big Mac throws on this very over-the-top southern drawl, and it's gold. I think it's great. You're like, damn, this is the most I've heard Big Mac talk, like, the entire series, and he's not even as himself. It's really funny. So he dresses up in drag to do this so Apple Bloom can have a sister to compete with, and Apple Bloom's response to this is, that's Big Macintosh in a dress. Oh my god. To which her friend's response is, that's just Big Macintosh in a dress. And what I fucking love... So Scootaloo is actually doing this shit with Rainbow Dash. And then Sweetie Belle's like, that's Big Mac in a dress. What is happening? And I think Big Mac's like, oh, you figured it. You're so smart. And Sweetie Belle's like, I am smart. I'm not gonna question you now. And I think that's really fun. Apple Bloom's demeanor throughout the episode at first is, well, this stinks because I really just wanted to do this shit with my sister, but I guess it is what it is. And then Big Mac gives her an out, and she's like, I don't want to take it. This is weird. Why are you doing this? Why are you dressed like this? Like, it's very sweet that you want to do this with me, and that you, I don't know, that you want to, that you're willing to embarrass yourself like this, but you don't have to. Okay, we're doing this. Okay. And there's times where she's not enjoying it, but then she's almost kind of starting to get into it, and then she just doesn't. Big Mac gets way too competitive at the end and just starts unga-bungaing and bulldozing his way through the competition, which leads to them winning. However, the judges are like, okay, you guys are disqualified. No, not because that's clearly a stallion. We don't care. Like, we can tell that sister's always a loose definition. But the sportsmanship there was fucking terrible, so you guys are disqualified. Second place wins. Second place being Rainbow Dash and Scootaloo. She's like, we did it, Squirt! And, like, they're super happy. Then Apple Bloom and Big Mac have a heart-to-heart at the end of the episode where she is like, I mean, I appreciate it, but what the hell was that? Like, are you okay? Are you good? Like, do you want to talk about it? He's like, no. And then he tells her, he's like, look, like, I was your hero, and I just miss that. Like, it's not that I think you don't love me anymore, but I miss how much you love me. And that just breaks her fucking heart. I'm almost starting to tear. I am tearing up a little bit. I did not cry while watching this episode, but I got close. I was like, fuck, that is heartbreaking. Big Mac gets an episode, and it's got fucking hooves, man. I don't know if I've told this story on the channel before. I feel like I have. I'd be kind of surprised if I haven't. A few years ago, I watched Clannad and After Story with my dad. And there was a point during After Story, during Ushio's arc, when my dad turns to me and he says, that right there, like, being a father and coming home after a long day at work and your kids running up to the front door because they're so happy to see you, that is the greatest feeling in the world. Nothing even comes close. And the day that stops is the worst day of your life. And it broke my fucking heart. Like, I was like, I felt so bad. Like, am I a bad person? I don't think so, but maybe. And it's why I love this episode. Because in this episode, you've got Big Macintosh is like, I just want to make, like, it really feels like a parent who still has a good relationship with their kid, but misses how much their kid looked up to them. And wants to see if they can kind of recapture or rekindle that. And the kid going, I mean, I still love you, but, like, what the fuck is this? And then when the kid hears that, you're like, I feel so bad because I love you and I adore you. It's just, like, I'm sorry that we don't spend as much time together. I'm sorry that we have different interests, but the last thing I want is to break your heart. And then Applejack comes back and Apple Bloom's like, I'll see you later. I gotta spend some fucking time with my brother, man. it's just a great episode. I'm tearing up talking about it. It's an S-tier episode. Like, let's fucking call a spade, man. Crusaders of the Lost Mark. The big one. The one where they get their ding-dang fucking cutie marks. This is, as I said, I believe in the other video, this episode is the 5-year anniversary of Friendship is Magic. It aired on 10/10/2015. And fun fact, these three are all in that episode. They show up at the very end when Nightmare Moon makes her appearance, and they're all, like, cowering under the table, which is before they actually met. Now, from what I understand, that is actually a bit of an animation error, I think from what I heard, I think I read this in an interview with Lauren Faust, like, I could be wrong about this, is that because the three are a trio, and they already knew that making the episode, they just kind of put them together. Even though it's like, that doesn't technically make sense, but at the same time, you can kind of buy it. Like, they're all at this event, this big Pinkie Pie party, shit happens, they all freak the fuck out, and they don't introduce themselves to each other, they don't make friends with each other because they're fucking terrified of what's going on. There was also the non-zero chance that Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo were already friends. It kind of seemed like they were, and then they hooked up with Apple Bloom at DT's quinceanera. Also, don't think it escapes my attention that Diamond Tiara being an absolute piece of shit and a bully is what brings them together. And it's them reconciling with Diamond Tiara that gives them their cutie mark. It's a really effective bookends. It's like, I don't know if that's something that's done on purpose. It probably is, but like, from just a narrative perspective, like, I really love that. So the plot of this episode, it can really be divided into thirds. I mean, like, yeah, duh, it's a 3-act structure, but the first third of this episode, Pipsqueak is running for class president against the incumbent Diamond Tiara. And he's like, I want you three to be my campaign managers. So the first third of the episode is just dealing with that. It's also a musical episode. Like, the episode starts with them singing a song about, like, wanting to get their cutie marks and shit. And I knew this going in because I've seen this fucking episode before. But it's the kind of thing that makes you go, they're singing about, like, cutie marks right at the start of the season. Cutie marks have been kind of a theme. Huh. Is this? No. This can't be it, but is this gonna go there? So, Cutie Mark Crusader campaign managers, yay. And then there's another song, and you go, okay, there's already been 2 songs in this episode. The last time we had a musical episode was because we had special musical guest Weird Al Yankovic, and like, if he's here, we're gonna use him. The other time we had a musical episode, Twilight became a fucking alicorn, completely overthrowing the status quo of the show. I mean, although you could argue how much of an overthrow it was, given how season 4 is written, and I think it does work. But anyways, so like, a major fucking event happens in a musical episode. Are we going here? No, we can't be, but are we? Is it finally time? And through all the singing, it's Diamond Tiara is trying to just, like, be the incumbent through bullying and blackmail, and Pip is getting it by not being Diamond Tiara. To the point where Silver Spoon's like, hey, I've got an idea. Shut the fuck up, Silver Spoon. Okay, fine, bitch. I'm voting for you. I'm done. So, Diamond Tiara loses the election, demands a recount, and then finds out that she is the only pony to vote for her, even losing Silver Spoon, which makes her really sad. And that is the first third of the episode. Then, you get the second third of the episode about Diamond Tiara, and she's like singing and shit. You're like, okay, no, dead ass, this is a musical episode. Oh boy, this might fucking happen. And, you meet her mom, Spoiled Rich, which, what a fucking name. Which, again, so, like, is Diamond Tiara, like, is she Diamond Tiara Rich? I'm assuming. I just don't think you ever hear her referred to as such. I don't know, maybe in like one of the trading card games or something. But you meet her mom, and her mom's like, Diamond Tiara, that is not the face a winner makes. And then she's like, well, it's just because I lost. You lost to the foreign kid who's also a blank flank? You're supposed to be better than them. You were you're rich. You are better than them, and they need to know how much better than them you are. I spent all my time on my kid, and then my kid can't even do this one fucking thing right. Oh my god. Oh, what are we gonna do? And then Diamond Tiara, has a song. Because I think she has, a couple. And then the Crusaders, because I think that happens, and then she sings, and the Crusaders all just kind of looking at each other like, do we feel bad? And then by the end of the song, I think Apple Bloom's first, she's like, guys, call me fucking crazy. I feel bad for her, and the other two are like, I do too. What the fuck? She's been a piece of shit the entire time for the last 5 years. She's awful. Why do we feel bad on her behalf? This is wrong. And I, as the viewer, am like, huh. This explains everything about her character. And what I love about, because this is Diamond Tiara's redemption episode, as well as they get their ding-dang cutie marks. What I really like about it, from what I remember, they don't really do anything with her from this point onwards. And this is about the halfway point, this-ish is about the halfway point of the entire series. So it is... On the one hand, there's a part of me that goes the most enduring antagonist of the show so far was Diamond Tiara, and they redeem her about halfway through, but then they just kind of forget about her. I don't know, maybe they do more shit with her later, and now that she's cool with the Crusaders, blah, 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 blah. I think I would have liked to have seen more of that. We'll see if they do. But, what I really like about it is when I actually think about the shit that Diamond Tiara does and says, it makes a lot of sense. Does it make it okay to do? No. She was being an awful person. But when one of the big influences in her life, and I don't know how much time her dad actually spends with her or anything like that, I know they have a good relationship, because I said, one of my favorite little moments is... I feel like I have a lot of favorite little moments in this show. There's 200 fucking episodes. Is during Family Appreciation Day when Filthy Rich is giving his spiel. Diamond Tiara looks fucking adorable. There's no, yeah, my dad is so cool. Your guys' dads all suck. She just, she's sitting up straight, has this big smile. She's just so proud of her father. And again, it's not even just a moment of my dad's rich, I'm cool. It's just I love my dad. My dad is the best. And then when you're like, oh yeah, it looks like her mom's fucking awful. That kind of makes more sense. The fact that her mom is telling her, you're better than them and they need to know it. Yeah, that is why she talks down to people. That's why she's a fucking bully. The fact that during Ponyville Confidential, I'm like, this Gabby Gum shit is going, way too, out of control. Shouldn't Cheer Lee do something about it? Well, Diamond Tiara's mom is on the fucking school board. And with how rich the family is, literally, that's their names. And it's not just for show. That's probably how they get most of their funding, which they even talk about in this episode. That's they get the funding for all the playground equipment. You kind of can't just... fire their daughter because she's posting tabloid shit. It gets to a point where she's like, okay, enough's enough. It takes a while to get there. Yeah, I imagine if the person signing your check says, that's my daughter, do right by her, your halves are kind of tied. Her bullying of Scootaloo. Again, It's fucking awful. You're a terrible person for doing this. Given her mom, it makes a lot of sense. You are told that you are better than everyone else. You are a winner. And they, by being blank flank, them by not being you, they are inferior. But also they're blank flanks. They are actually like dregs on society. What do you mean they're going to beat you in this tournament? Or like in this competition? You're a rich. You are going to like, not only will you be representing our city, our town at the fucking Olympics, you are going to be representing our family at the Olympics. You are going to go to that and you are going to fucking schmooze with the princesses, with the like learn who's who at the Crystal Empire, all that kind of shit. It's like, I could go as your chaperone, now I can schmooze with the Crystal Empire. You need to fucking win this. And she sees like, okay, their routine is really fucking good. I have to get under their skin. Okay, calling them blank flanks doesn't work. I need something. Okay, I have an idea. Because I have to win this. Sympathetic? Justified? Maybe not. But I can understand it. It's like, I can genuinely empathize with her. And that's fascinating. Yeah, the fact that after the Babs episode, she's like, I'm gonna tell your moms, and Diamond Tower's like, yeah, please don't tell my fucking mom. You're like, yeah, that makes sense. It's what I really love here. I'm like, wow, you're an awful person. I get it. And the Crusaders are like, she's fucking awful. But we get it. You know, she's singing about how she wants to change, how she genuinely wants to be a better person. Maybe we give her that chance. And I love how, like, they hear her sing, and then they're like, hey, do you want to hang out with us? And you can just tell she wants to say yes with no strings attached really badly. Like, I'm having a really bad day. I lost. My only friend told me to go fuck myself. And now my mom thinks I'm a tremendous disappointment. Yeah. I kind of need a friend. But also just... Fuck, what's the word I want? Conditioning. That's it. It's like her conditioning is kicking in and trying to have her say, no, fuck you guys. Like, the fact that you would dare pity me makes me more upset. I was like, and she tsundere's her way, and they're like, fine, I guess I can. And the three are like, are we really gonna do this? Yeah, we should. Okay. Then Pip shows up and is like, Crusaders, they didn't approve my budget, I'm fucked. And Diamond Tiara's like, nyeh, 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 nyeh. You're going to renege on your campaign promise. When that happens, you're going to get impeached and kicked out, and the incumbent's going to win. The incumbent is me. Nobody's smart but me. I definitely quoted that watching Starlight Glimmer in the finale. I was like, fuck, what is that line? Everyone's an idiot but me. Clay's like, it's nobody's smart but me. I'm like, that's it. That's it. That is all of the energy that Starlight has in the entirety of the finale, and it's gold. But you get something from Diamond Tiara here. So you get another song of her saying, I'm going to go forward with this plan so I can get my spot back. And the Crusaders singing to her, it's like, look, you were literally just saying you want to be a better person. Here's your chance. If you go through with this, you are burning your last bridge. Because we hate you for this. Like, we don't like you. But we want to extend our hands in friendship, our hooves in friendship. If you go forward with this, it proves that you just care about winning in yourself. Fuck you. And when rubber meets the road, when push comes to shove, Diamond Tiara stands up to her mom. She gets another song about, like, finding out who she is and like what her cutie mark means. That's another thing she says. She's earlier in one of her songs, she's like, what the fuck is my cutie mark? I don't get it. Like, yeah, I know, I'm rich, I'm special, blah, 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 blah. But I was like, what the fuck does it mean? What does it mean that I do? I don't get it. Which, again, how did they meet? At her quinceanera. And it's like, hey, maybe being a blank flank is a cool thing because, like, the world is your oyster. You don't know what you're gonna be yet. And Diamond Tiara's mad at them for upstaging her party. Which, A, fair. 2, they're blank flanks and I'm better than them. Why are they upstaging my party? And 3, I have my cutie mark. I don't know what the fuck it means. They still have a chance to figure out who they're going to be. I know, like, I have an idea of who I'm supposed to be, and I don't get it. And from what I understand, it means being like my mom, and I fucking hate that, but I'm on my way to doing it, and I really don't know what I should do. Like, fuck, you actually made this character, like, really interesting. But she stands up to her mom, is able to say, like, look, I'm filthy fucking rich. His daughter. If his middle initial starts with the letter F. Oh my gosh. But it's like, look, I'm literally filthy rich. I can pay for this equipment. I don't want to upstage Pip. I want to be a better person. And she starts, like, encouraging people and delegating. She's like, I think that's what my talent is. That's what my cutie mark means. It's a tiara. It's royalty. It's a position of power. I should be in power. I should be in charge. But I can be a good person with it. I never thought I'd say this to you three. Thank you. You helped me realize the person I want to actually be and gave me the chance to prove it. And now I actually think I'm a better person. Thank you. And then the Crusaders see this and they're like, well, that was beautiful. We turned a bully into a bestie. We helped her understand who she is. Man, this is such a good feeling. We did it here. We did it here. I don't need to have a cutie mark, man. I just want to make other people feel good about theirs. Like, I've spent so much of my life hating the fact that I don't have one. I'm looking at it all wrong. I should just want people to be happy with what they have. And the other two in the trio are saying, like, yeah, I think the exact same thing. Let's just try to make people happy. And then they high five. And then it happens. After 5, it's been 83 years. Which is, I don't know, maybe about a third of the amount of time it's taken for Pokemon Z to come out. Oh, wow, that's fucking wild, dude. But, they get their cutie marks. They get, I think it is like their Crusader emblem. And each of them is a little bit different. Apple Bloom gets an apple because it buys some apples. Scootaloo gets a lightning bolt because speed and racing, which something she gets from Rainbow Dash. And Sweetbelle gets a music note because she also is really good at singing and loves singing. Speaking of which, it's a musical. You get one more song about... Oh, fuck. This is the part of the season where I cried. Like, I'll be completely honest. It's them seeing how far they've come and how after 5 years they finally got this thing. And what they want to do with it is like, yeah, we were serious. We want to make people happy. And like the town is super happy for them. And their bully is now super happy for them. And the part that got me is them talking to their sisters. And Applejack is saying to Apple Bloom, like, Mom and Dad would be so proud. And I think Rarity and Rainbow Dash, I don't remember exactly what they say, but they're like, we're all so fucking proud of you. We have been watching you grow up. And seeing who you're becoming is fucking beautiful. you guys have fucking earned this. And I cried. I fucking cried. It wasn't just like, there's a tear. Like, talking about this, I'm like, damn, the scene at the end got hands. I'm like, in a bit of tear. I was like, oh, I'm like actually crying. This is an S tier episode. No fucking question. This might be up here, actually. Like, oh my god. The great season 5 episodes, man. Like I say, when I say, like, this might be better than season 2, I'm like, fuck. Some of these episodes got hooves, man. It is good. Fuck. I'm trying to put you here for right now. Come on, Pinkie. The one where Pinkie Pie knows. Short version. Cadence and Shining Armor are pregnant, and they're gonna have a baby, and Pinkie finds out about it through her work connections, but is told, this is supposed to be a secret. Do not spoil it before, you know, the mom and dad, or the expecting parents do. And Pinkie's like, cool, I can do that, but fuck. This is a doozy of a secret, and, like, I want to tell people, because that's my personality, but I'm not supposed to. Oh, fuck. So it's an episode with just a lot of great Pinkie Pie faces and reactions. There's one point I think she's like, I gotta bounce! And she fucking turns into a pinballs around the screen, and then disappears. There's a scene where after they finally get told, and she's like, it's a baby! Finally, I can relax. And she just... I don't know how to say it. It looks like someone... It looks like she just met up with an anime swordsman who unsheathed his sword, walked right past her, and then sheathed his sword, and then she was just cut to ribbons after. Like, Pinkie fucking died visually, and I was like, wait, that's a joke? I mean, that's funny, but what the fuck? Okay. That's a new one for Pinkie. I think it's maybe like a B. Maybe a C. It has Cadence in it. It's probably a C. It's so mean. But, like, it is an episode, like, it's pretty okay. Like, it's pretty funny. I wasn't laughing at this nearly as hard as I was laughing at this. This episode is hysterical. This episode has, like, that one scene of her getting cut into ribbons where I'm like, okay, that's notable. That's pretty fun. Overall, I think it's damn. Again, I was like, man, I never have C tier episodes. We got fucking 4 of them. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't really have much more to say about this. Hearthbreakers, which I believe is deadass the halfway point of Friendship is Magic, at least in terms of airing order. Because Scaremaster was delayed to air around Halloween. It was supposed to air, I think, in between these two or in between these two. But I watched it after this one, so that's why I'm going to keep it there. It's like, yeah, we had Christmas, and then we had Halloween. Okay. Anyways, point. Hearthbreakers is the Pie family and the Apple family get together for Hearthswarming, and Applejack and the Apple family like, cool, we can't wait for all the classic traditions. And Pinkie's like, yeah, the classic traditions are fucking great. Refuses to elaborate on her family's take on them. Then her family's traditions are not at all expected. Like, instead of traditional dolls that you make, they carve them out of rocks because, you know, rock farm. Instead of, like, a big-ass dinner, they have rock soup, which is just soup with a fucking rock in it. Instead of giving out Christmas presents, like, actually, we hide the Christmas presents, and then you gotta run around and find them, and you may or may not find them. Instead of just having the youngest member of the family hoist up the flag, nah, you play capture the flag to do it. And as the episode goes on, Big Mac, Granny Smith, and Apple Bloom are like, you know what? I'm kind of fucking with this. Like, you know, it's not my usual kind of Christmas, but it's still Christmas. And I mean, I like our family that we're meeting. They're pretty dope. Because, like, Apple Bloom is hanging out with Maud, who, again, is, like, one of the goated characters of the show. She's like, I don't know, I think Maud's pretty cool. Once you get to know her, like, yeah, she's dope. And Granny Smith gets to meet Pinkie's parents, who are fucking Puritans. Like, thou mayest call me Igneous Rocketh, and shit. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love them. The little sister, because there's one of the sisters that has, like, really long hair, marble pie, does not talk. She is Pinkie's twin, because Pinkie's like, yeah, she's younger than me by, like, 2 minutes. Like, oh, Pinkie has a twin. That's actually dope. I forgot about that. And she doesn't talk. Partly it's because, you know, like, she's just very shy, and also, I think it's Applejack that says it. She's like, you know, Pinkie must have done all the talking for her. So I can kind of see it as, like, yeah, she just has no social skills. She's shy, and also, if she needs to talk, Pinkie just does it. And then you have Limestone, who's the leader of the family. It seems like, you know, the parents are old and retired. I don't know if Maud is older than Limestone, or if it's just because, you know, Maud's kind of gone off to do her own thing and, like, go to school and shit. Limestone is the oldest who stayed behind. She's the one who has, she has a very raspy voice. It was very angry, kind of always starting shit, and I don't know. I actually really like Limestone. I just kind of like the whole Pie family. But like I said, Big Mac, Apple Bloom, Granny Smith, they're like, this is dope as hell. Applejack's the one who's like, look, I'm stubborn. That's my character flaw. And my stubbornness is telling me, like, this is not how you're supposed to celebrate Christmas. This is some bullshit. So she tries to impose her own traditions on the rock farm, and it doesn't work. She ends up triggering a fault line and an earthquake, and Limestone's like, nah, y'all are leaving my property right the fuck now. And then she's like, I fucked up, and they go back and apologize, and it's fine. They have a nice Christmas. There's one part of me that just kind of says, okay, Pinkie, you know what your Pie family, like, rock Christmas is, but you also know how everyone else celebrates Christmas. Why didn't you tell Applejack? Why didn't you tell the Apple family, like, look, guys, the way my family celebrates hearthswarming is probably pretty different than what you guys are used to. But at the end of the day, traditions, while they matter to us, don't really matter in the long run. What matters is that it's Christmas and that we're family. The other part of me goes, that's exactly why she wouldn't tell them. Because for Pinkie, she's like, look, my family is going to meet my family. We're going to have a good time. The traditions are the same, you know, eating food, shit with presents, the dolls and whatnot. The methods are a little bit different, but that doesn't matter because you're doing it with family. That's what hearthswarming is all about. Family, togetherness. Where everyone's going to have a good time. It's going to be fine. And I like that. I feel like that makes a lot of sense given Pinkie's character. I don't think this is I can't put it in S. I'm like, no, I don't think it can quite compete, but I think it's no, you're on an A. Like, I really like this episode. I think it's very good. Scaremaster. So this is the Nightmare Night episode. This, oh boy. Utna is in this episode. There is a fucking scene. I know I have to talk about the plot, but there's a fucking scene in this episode where there are pony versions of Ranma, Bulma, like OG Dragon Ball Bulma, Ray. There's someone else I can't remember, because I'm like remembering where they are in the screen. I'm like, there's someone else over there. And I know it's a character I reckon. Oh, it was Sailor Moon. That's it. It was Sailor Moon. And then right in the middle of the screen, like, that's Utena Tenjo as a pony. What the fuck? Because, I mean, I watch anime. Like, I know most of these characters the first time I watched it. I remember I was like, yeah, that's fucking weird. I hadn't seen Utena. So I'm like, I get it. But it didn't really matter. And now I'm like, I'm just fixated on the fact that they ponified Utena and threw her into the show. Like, it's a cardboard cutout. It's not like that's an Utena pony, but that's still a canon Utena pony. I might want to put it in S tier just for that. Like, I can't get over that. That's now living in my head rent-free. But the episode itself is Nightmare Night. It's Halloween. Fluttershy is a scaredy cat. She's like, I don't want to fucking go outside and deal with this shit. I don't want to see people dressed up in scary shit and, like, scaring each other and whatnot. That sounds like ass. I don't want to do this. But then Angel's like, bitch, I need my fucking food. And she's like, okay. So she goes out. The remaining 5 see her. They're like, Fluttershy, you're out on Nightmare Night? Yo! We're gonna party with Fluttershy! So, they party with Fluttershy. Let's see if I can remember the costumes. Pinkie is wearing, like, a roller derby outfit. Applejack is a lion. And the previous year, she was a scarecrow, so I can only assume the next year she would go as the Tin Man. Rainbow Dash is wearing, like, a spaceman outfit. Fluttershy isn't wearing anything, because Ponyville's, like, a nudist colony. What was Twilight? I can, like, almost see it in my head, because I think she was, like, wearing goggles or some shit. But, like, I don't remember what Twilight was. Rarity was a mermaid. I remember that. Because she keeps slapping Fluttershy with her tail in one scene completely on accident. But, so at first, I think Fluttershy's talking to Rarity. She's like, okay, if you're going to go out with us, let's get you a good costume. And she ends up wearing, like, a masquerade ball outfit. She's like, I don't want to wear the mask because it obscures my vision. So I'm just wearing a nice dress. Like, it's a masquerade ball outfit without the mask. To which the remaining 5 are like, I mean, okay, sure. As long as it makes her happy. And again, this being a Fluttershy episode with the rest of her friends, you have 4 friends doing what they can to make Fluttershy feel included with no strings attached. And her best friend since forever, Rainbow Dash, going, look, I have no patience for Fluttershy's bullshit. She's my friend. I'm not going to bend over backwards to please her. Which, I don't know, I kind of respect that. It's like, I'm going to treat Fluttershy the way I treat everybody else. So, they want to play some, like, Halloween-themed games that Fluttershy's like, I don't want to go bobbing for apples. What if while I'm under the water, someone comes up and, like, fucking stabs me? Okay, you want to play pin the tail on the pony? Well, I would, but I'm going to be blindfolded, so I won't be able to see, so if someone walked in and wanted to fucking stab me, I wouldn't be able to see them. Okay. Let's not play any games. And I think Pinkie gives her some candy. I don't even remember what the fuck she says. She says some shit about, like she doesn't want to eat candy. And Pinkie just looks at her, takes the bag, and moves it away without breaking eye contact. It's not like this mean mugging, like, what the... She just has the look on her face where I can read her thoughts. And the thoughts are, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I know you're someone who is very easily scared. I know you're someone who has issues being assertive and with self-esteem, and it's something you work on, and you're a very good friend of mine, so I don't want to call you out on any of this. You don't want to eat candy on Halloween, and it's not because of, like, health concerns. It's because you're a psychopath. Okay, what do you want to do? So the apples have, like, a haunted corn maze that they do, and it's like basically a haunted house. So before that, Fluttershy's like, oh, a haunted house? What if I do that and I try to scare you guys? And Rainbow Dash is like, Fluttershy trying to scare us. That sounds funny as fuck. And then everyone else is like, Rainbow Dash, stop being an asshole. Yeah, sure, we'll go. So they go to Fluttershy's house, and at first it almost kind of works. You know, it's like there's no one there. You know, the lights are... It's like a haunted tea party. Which they're like, a tea party? How is that scary? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I've read Alice in Wonderland, and it's not a horror story by any means. But the idea of a haunted tea party, I'm like, no, I could see that working with, like, some demented Alice shit going on. That sounds fun. Like the Ruby tea... God, the Ruby tea party! That's a fucking nightmare tea party. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's one of like the best fucking scenes in RWBY, dude. I mean, most of Volume 9 is like the best scenes in RWBY, but anyways, point. So that happens, and Fluttershy's like, pass the sugar. Oh, look, there's no sugar. You're a bad guest. And just shit like that, and it's not working. And at one point, she's like, oh, look, uninvited guests that you didn't prepare for. Scary. And those are the, like, Utna and Ray shit. And I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Why is Utna Tenjo here? I'm sorry, like, of everyone there, Sailor Moon, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, Ranma, Bulma, Ray, like, this is kind of neat. I don't know what it is about Utna. I'm like, this is amazing. This one is just such a weird surprise to me, even though it maybe makes the most sense. I think I was just happy to see Utna getting love. Because, like, yeah, that show was a blast, dude. Sorry. I was drinking some water. But after that, they're like, yeah, Fluttershy, A for effort, but man, that was dog shit. So they all go off. They're like, I mean, we're going to go to the corn maze. Do you want to come with us? No. I just wish I could have scared them. Like, that's what they want. I want to give them a good time. Angel, can you think of anything? And Angel's just like, oh, I have ideas. I was like, Angel's a piece of shit. That was genuinely really funny. So they do this whole thing where they have, like, the bear dress up as, like, the creature from the Black Lagoon, and they get trapped underground, and they get trapped in a spider web and all this shit, and Fluttershy dresses up as the bat again. And they scare the bejesus out of the and Spike's there too. They scare the bejesus out of them. And afterwards, Fluttershy's like, I'm so fucking sorry. Like, Fluttershy, that was you? That was amazing. That was, excuse me. That was some top level scaring. That was creative as fuck. You nailed every part of that. Oh my god, Fluttershy, you have to do this next year. That was so fucking fun. She's like, no. Oh, what do you mean? No, it was fun. I don't want to see my friends getting scared like that, especially not because of me. I get it. You guys were having fun. It's just not something I like. I gave it a fair shake. I wanted to try it, but hey, there's some things you guys are going to do as a group that I'm just not going to be a part of. And that's fine. I'm glad I gave it a shot, but it's just outside my comfort zone. Like, you know what? Thank you for giving it a shot. Thank you for all of this insanity, because that was amazing. We love you. And that's the episode, and it's really good. It's really good. I'm like, fuck. The Utna reference alone gives it a lot of points, but like, I just have a great time with it. I really seem to like Fluttershy episodes, but that might not even be true, because I think Putting Your Hoof Down is pretty fucking awful, but this episode's great. Hurricane Fluttershy is one of my all-time favorites. I'm very partial to Dragon Shy. A good Fluttershy... I think what I'm noticing, what is a good Fluttershy episode? Also Philly Vanilli, which is kind of the exception to this. I think a good Fluttershy episode also has Rainbow Dash not putting up with Fluttershy shit. I don't know why I love that so much, but I just do. I think a lot like Philly Vanilli, I love the moral, because the moral to me is very similar. Philly Vanilli is, don't be afraid to face your fears. This one is more about, don't be afraid to try something outside of your comfort zone. But make sure you have your boundaries. If something is too uncomfortable, don't fucking do it. If you've tried something and it doesn't work for you, don't be afraid to stand your ground and say, look, this just doesn't work for me. And like that's it. Like That's fine. That's good shit. It's wonderful. I love it. Moving on to Discord. What about Discord? This is the episode where Twilight spends a weekend on a book sortation. She has a 3-day staycation with Spike where she's like, I'm just going to reorganize all my books. And as someone who is very anal about my collections, like my games, my DVDs, my figures and whatnot, I'm like, girl, do it. Talk your shit. I 100% understand that. There is something so satisfying about, like, having your collection and then saying, you know what? We're going to reorganize things. It's great. It's wonderful. I love it. Then, after the 3-day weekend is up, she sees Rainbow Dash hanging out with Discord, as shown here. And he's like, wait, you guys are hanging out? Why? Hung out with Discord over the weekend. It was fun. What do you mean it was fun? It's Discord. Yeah, it's pretty great, actually. You had a great time. Huh. That's fucking weird. And then, yeah, the whole group hung out, aside from Twilight and Spike. So, there remain 5 plus Discord. So, aside from Fluttershy, who was already Gucci with him, the other 4, like, fuck, dude. I can't lie. We hung out with him for a weekend. It was great. Dude's hilarious. We got inside jokes now. And Twilight's like, okay. I missed out on this. And it is an episode about Twilight being incredibly fucking jealous that her friends had this amazing weekend and she wasn't part of it. I feel like it's less the fact that they're cool with Discord. She's like, yeah, I mean, like, I'm cool with Discord in my own weird way. I don't mind that. I think it's kind of weird, but hey, more power to them. I'm just mad that I missed out on it. And that, like, everyone had this great time and I wasn't even fucking invited. And you know what? That's fair. And I do really like that moral, that essentially the moral is, it's okay to feel jealousy about things. Just don't let it consume you. Because that's when it becomes a problem. You can look at a situation and be like, man, I wish I had that. Or, yeah, I wish this cool thing had happened to me. It's when you get consumed over it and start stewing over it. She's like, yeah, there's no way that this actually happened. Discord must have hypnotized you guys. That's right. Here's a potion that'll cure it because, you guys can't actually be friends with Discord. And when she's telling them that, you have 4 of them giving her this look like, is she for real? Like, should I be mad at this? Like, should I be more offended than confused? Or am I too confused to be offended? And then you have Fluttershy just mean mugging her. She looks pissed off that Twilight has the gall to suggest that her friend Discord, her future hubby, would dare do something like this after he's been reformed. Nuh-uh. And spoiler alert, Discord didn't do shit. They just had a good weekend. Now, granted, he did specifically tell them not to invite Twilight, which he says, he's like, look, I did it so, like, she was gonna do her 3-day vacation, and I didn't want her to, like, I didn't want to disturb her. Now, did I kind of figure that it would make her a bit jealous and I would get to enjoy her squirming with jealousy? Yeah, I'd be lying if I said no, because this is how I show my affection to Twilight. I fuck with her, I kind of treat her like shit. But, look, like, I'm not actually trying to hurt her. If anything, I taught her an important friendship lesson that even as the princess of friendship, you can still feel jealousy. You still feel emotions. Just, make sure you handle them right. With the rest of the remain 5 just kind of going, okay, Discord, you had a good 3-day weekend. You had some really good inside jokes. Don't fuck with Twilight like that. That's not okay. Your jokes have kind of run their course. And Discord afterwards is like, huh, this is what karma feels like. And I don't know, he and Twilight kind of give each other this look at the end of the episode, like, I think we're good. I think we're like, are we still good? We're still good. I don't know. I really like it. I think it's a good time. It's not an S tier episode. It's another A tier episode. Boy, season 5 has some banger episodes. Some mid, some bad. And it's got the Hooffields and the McColts. It's 2 fucking backwood country families that fucking hate each other. And that's the entire episode. And Fluttershy and Twilight have to solve this friendship problem. And Twilight's like, I'm the princess of friendship. I have to make sure I do this. I've been wanting the map to do some shit with me. I'm so anal about doing this shit. Blah, blah, blah. And Fluttershy's like, I just want to protect the aminals. That's basically it. Like, it's fun. Like, I don't want to put it in C, because I don't want to be like, I'm neutral. I'm like, I had a genuinely fun time watching this episode. But at the same time, like, I had a fun time watching this. There just kind of wasn't anything too special about it. And I feel like this is C, because that's kind of what it is. Like, it doesn't... I don't think it's as strong as this one in terms of its catharsis. And it's not as fuzzy as this. I mean, I think this one is funny. I did laugh. I was having a good time with just how goofy it was, but... I don't know. I kind of like the idea of all 3 of these being in the same tier. But I'm like, maybe this one should be higher up. Nothing Burger, I hate to say it, but like kind of Nothing Burger, problems, but enough shit to, I think, keep them up from D. This one is definitely just kind of like, it's alright. I think it's kind of fun. And it feels a bit more correct to me. I'm sorry, I just don't have much to say about it. It's like, yeah, they solve a problem in West Virginia. Cool, it's pretty funny. I don't know, it's funny enough that I can maybe put it up here. Yeah, I'll do the same here. I can maybe do that. We'll see. The main attraction, also known as the Lena Hall episode, because when she won her Tony for, I believe, Hedwig and the Angry Inch, during her acceptance speech, she kind of said at the end, like, yeah, friendship is magic. It was either in her acceptance speech or like an interview right after. I don't remember which, because I remember watching that live. I was like, huh. I don't know who she is, but she just won a fucking Tony. That's really cool. Congrats to her. Does she watch Friendship is Magic? And from what I understand, the team at Friendship is Magic was like, wait, what the fuck? Does she watch our show? Can we get Tony Award winning actress Lena Hall in an episode of Friendship is Magic? And so they did, because she likes the show and wanted to shout it out. So, in this episode, Coloratura, or as Applejack calls her, because they knew each other when they were kids, Rah-Rah, is coming to town for a charity gig. When they were kids, you know, they had this little song they did together where she would sing and Applejack would hit the triangle, and it's kind of weird watching it, because despite the fact that she's a little filly, she has the voice of a grown mare. It's kind of like watching Jackie Evancho. Which, I think Jackie has a beautiful voice, but like, yeah, that's a little weird. But she comes back, and now she's the most famous pop diva in Equestria. She has this kind of Lady Gaga vibe, with just, like, not to say that Lady Gaga is like this diva or anything, but diva in terms of great performer, not like behind the stage menace, at least as far as I know. I don't know if I've really heard anything bad about Gaga. But just the actual way she looks and, like, what she's wearing and shit. Like, she looks like a pony that was designed for Lady Gaga. So I'm a little disappointed that they don't have Gaga. But Lena Hall fucking kills it when she sings. She gets 3 songs. So she gets her little thing with Applejack. She reprises at the end. She has her Gaga song at the spectacle. And I don't know. It's fun. It's pretty catchy. I think I read a short thing the other day where Lena Hall says, like, yeah, I had it in my head for like 2 weeks after I recorded it. And it comes the actual plot. She's just a really good, nice person. Her manager is an asshole who uses the fact that he manages the most, like, famous person in Equestria to get free shit. It's driving Pinkie nuts because she's like, I had to go through so many hoops to get her, and I'm still having to jump through hoops. And Applejack's like, look, Rara, I thought I knew you, but like, this is some ass. Either you've become a piece of shit, or your manager's a piece of shit, and you're letting him get away with it. either through your own ignorance or because you just don't care. And I hope it's because of your ignorance. And they prove that he's a piece of shit, so they get into a fight, and the dude leaves, and Rara's like, alright, I gotta give a performance without him backing me up. Boy, I'm nervous. I haven't done this in a long time, but she goes out, and she performs her song with the piano, and Lena Hall's gorgeous fucking voice. It's really, really good, and it makes Applejack all happy to see her friend just, like, kicking ass, and it's like what I was saying here, like, it's just a really pleasant episode, but it has some amazing vocal performances. So that puts it up here. Hey, look, now there's more A-tier episodes than S-tier episodes, even though I said it's going to be really tough for S-tier episodes. I wonder if we can fix that with the finale. Oh, look! The finale's fucking amazing. The Cutie Re-Mark. Oh, man. Clay and I watched this last night. I was very trepidatious going into this finale. Because I was like, was it good? Because I don't super remember what happens. I remember kind of something about bad futures. Like, I remembered the montage at the end, like Flim and Flam and Tyrek. I didn't remember what the first three were, even though those were like the actual ones that got focus. I remembered I remembered Starlight's backstory, and it was like, I get it. It's maybe a bit much, but I get it. I remember the ending, like, everyone, like, smiling and facing forward, except for Bulk Biceps, who's just... He's the only person not looking at the audience. He's just looking at Fluttershy's ass, and I just think that's really funny. I remembered the Fallout Equestria scene. And that was kind of it. And essentially, my thought on it was, from what I remember, it's, like, kind of cool, but... I don't know, it's maybe kind of a mess. I don't know how well it works. Yeah, rewatching it's fucking awesome. So, Twilight is giving a speech about friendships and cutie marks, and how she and her friends got her cutie marks at the same time. I don't think she mentions the Simsa, even though they got their cutie marks at the same time, but about how, without Rainbow Dash's rainbow, none of my friends would be who we are, blah, 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 isn't it cool? And Starlight Glimmer is just there in attendance. And then Twilight's like, oh, what the fuck? And then Starlight's gone. So she talks to Spike on their way back to the castle, like, yeah, I really hope she's not here to get revenge on me, because, fuck, I don't want to deal with that shit. And Spike's like, I don't know, that sounds stupid. And they go into the castle, which, of course, has no security. Which, thinking about it, it's one of those things you're like, really? The castle has no security? Well, it is Twilight. Just given her personality... And it's like, I don't want to make it seem like I'm better than any pony else. No, she wouldn't have security. Because she doesn't really see it as my castle. She sees it as her house. And she's like, why the fuck would I have security guards at my house? I'm like, no, I buy it. It actually makes a lot of sense for her character. When they get in, Starlight's there just waiting for him, like, hi, Sparks. Uses a spell on the map and fucking disappears into the ether. Twilight and Spike have no idea what the fuck just happened. So they grab the spike. Fuck, why'd that make me laugh so hard? They grab the spell. I think Spike is the one that grabs it. And then they end up going into... I don't know, like a temporal displacement tube. But they travel back into the past. Samurai Jack. But they end up going into the past, specifically during Rainbow Dash's race. Starlight encases them in, like, was it crystal? Was it, like, goo? I don't super remember. Traps them in a rectangle and is like, hey, bitch, so you ruined my life. You ruined my perfect utopia of Equalia that I fucking loved, that I genuinely believed in. So fuck you. I'm gonna ruin your friendships because you ruined mine. Cutie marks for cutie marks. And during the race, she just uses her magic to, like, stop Rainbow Dash from moving and, like, kind of crush her body a little bit. Not, like... Yeah, it's like she kind of, like, stops and holds her in place. So, Rainbow doesn't win the race, doesn't get the need for speed, blah, 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 blah. And, Twilight and Spike end up going back to the future. Or, I guess, into the present, which, back to the future. So, while they're in the present, the map has updated and shown that, hey, the Crystal Empire is like half of Equestria. The fuck? So, Ponyville is basically empty. So they go to Sweet Apple Acres and find Applejack and Big Macintosh working on, like, quick production of canned apples. And Applejack gives them the skinny. Yeah, so the Crystal Empire showed up again and King Sombra happens. And King Sombra just started fucking conquering Equestria. And he gives his crystal ponies, like, this fucking armor and these helmets that seems that it possesses them. So they have to do his bidding, so they're his loyal soldiers. And you get this scene of Rainbow Dash with a scar on her eye, a fucked up ear, and a dead-ass metal wing as part of, like, fighting shit. You get this scene where a big-ass rock almost falls on her, and then Maud and Pinkie Pie in their military uniforms just jump up and start punching the shit out of it and break it so it doesn't fall on Dash's head. And I'm like, oh my god. We have a Pony War apocalypse? We have Fallout Equestria. Like, this isn't quite Fallout Equestria, but oh wow, this is way closer to Fallout Equestria than I ever thought we'd actually get in this show. This is amazing. So, Twilight, after hearing all that, she's like, okay, we need to go back. Starlight making it so that, like, we didn't get our cutie marks all together, made it so that we didn't have this special bond, we didn't become friends, which means we didn't get together to save the world. I gotta go do something about this. So she uses the spell, which was, I think Starlight explained it the first time. Like, she went to the Canterlot archives, took that Star Swirl the Bearded time travel spell, fucked with it a bit, so essentially she could go further back in time, and also added a bit to the spell, which I love, which is, if anyone tries to use this spell, I know about it, and it sends me back first. So, you can't just go back and undo what I did, because every time you do, I will be there waiting for you. In fact, I left the spell behind on purpose, because I knew you would do it. And every time you go back to stop me, I am going to be there before you. And I can stop this shit from happening again, and again, and again, and again, because I hate you, and I want you to suffer. I lost everything that I had worked for. It's just fair that you do the same. So, the second time they go back, the way Starlight fixes things is she just tells the kids to stop bullying Fluttershy. And it's like, yeah, it's better when we're all equal, because no pony is better than any pony else. So you have no reason to bully them. And Twilight is trying to get these kids to bully Fluttershy so a race can happen. And that's really funny and fucked up. And I think it's right after that is she goes up to Rainbow Dash and is like, hey kid, you want a race? No, you're an adult. Come on, it'll be great. I'm from the future. And just creeping the shit out of this kid. He's like, I'm gonna not be around you. And I believe they go to the next timeline, which is a changeling timeline, where where Zecora has, like, this fucking face paint that you can put on people to tell if they're changelings or not. Like, that's pretty neat. And, her village, like, basically Ponyville now lives in the Everfree Forest to hide from the changelings, but then Chrysalis attacks, and they have to escape. And they escape again, and Starlight happens. there's a bunch of different ways in between the two episodes they fuck with Starlight, or that Starlight fucks with things. At one point, they just have this fun, like, Dragon Ball fight. It's not as cool as the Tyrek fight, I will not deny that. But they have this really fun fight, and then Rainbow Dash and the bullies just stop to watch the fight. They're like, no, you're supposed to race! Why would I do that? This is awesome. Fuck! One of my favorites is Twilight teleports in and immediately just, like, fucking blasts Starlight, and Starlight jumps out of the way, so instead she hits Rainbow Dash, causes her to get trapped in, like, ice and gloop and whatnot, and then Starlight just looks at Twilight, has the most mocking, goofy face, and just starts clapping, and I was crying laughing. It was so funny. Let's see, the next bad future, though, is Nightmare Moon. And there's this scene where you can see that Nightmare Moon is on her throne, but she's shrouded in darkness, and it's kind of in the background, so you don't super see it. And then after Twilight's talking to Rarity working for Nightmare Moon, it's like, yeah, time travel, blah, blah, blah. Then it shows the throne, and yeah, it just, like, shows her in shadow and everything. Like, fuck, this is actually, like, a really cool shot of Nightmare Moon. I love it. Then she's talking about how, like, yeah, like, I conquered Equestria, Celestia's in the fucking sun. If you have time travel magic, that means, A, you're a problem because you could stop me, and 2, it means it means you have really powerful shit that I don't, and that's a problem. So, Twilight is able to trick Nightmare Moon to taking her back to the map and blowing up all the Timberwolves in the path, because after a Dragon Ball fight with with Starlight, she's fucking exhausted. But she does that, uses the spell, goes back in time again, Nightmare Moon goes, ah, fuck! Actual dial. Yeah, she and Starlight are fighting each other for a bit. You get other bad futures. See one with Tyrek rampaging, one with Discord just fucking around, one with Flim and Flam just destroying all the apple trees. They're like, oh, this is the worst one. Finally, they get back. They're back to the past to fight Starlight, and Twilight's like, look, here's the thing, Starlight. Clearly, I can't stop you. Because, yeah, every time I come back, you're here too. And you're so stupidly powerful that I can't just beat you straight up. But I refuse to lose to you either. Part of that is because this is my life, and these are my friends, and fuck you, by the way. Also because I've seen what happens if my friends and I aren't together. We hold the fate of Equestria in our hooves. If we are not there to defend it, everything goes to shit. One way or another. Nightmare Moon, Discord, Changelings. Although, you know, that one was a lot more of Cadence, but I mean, she still had to save Cadence in the first place, so it makes sense. Sombra, Tyrek, Flim and Flam, apparently. We have to be there. Can you not do this? Because you are not only getting your revenge on me, you're making the entire world suffer. And Starlight's response to this is, I don't believe you. You are so self-important that you are convinced the literal fate of the world depends on you being friends with those 5. No, I don't believe it. Potentially, it's one of those things where, like, I can see someone making this a problem. I think it was kind of a problem for me my first time through. I was like, this is stupid. It makes no sense. Because, of course, they're that important. They're the fucking elements of harmony. How many times have they saved the world? You really not think about this, Starlight? Is this really too much for you to believe? But the more I thought about it, I was like, no. She just doesn't care. Let me rephrase that. It's not to the point where it's like, I don't care that what I'm doing is going to destroy the world. It's just, she's so consumed by her pettiness, By her spite. That's really what it is. She is too spiteful to see the forest for the trees. Like, look, I am just focused on my revenge that I want right now. I am not concerned with anything else. And I hate you and your friends so much that even though what you're saying makes sense, I refuse to believe it. Fuck you. To which Twilight says, fuck you! So she grabs Starlight so they both go to the next bad future together. Again, along with Spike. Spike has been here and been by Twilight's side the entire fucking time. They go, and it's just this empty wasteland. And I look at that and go, that's the Fallout Equestria timeline. I thought we hit it with, the Sombra thing, and it's like, damn, we almost got Fallout Equestria. That's crazy. This is Fallout Equestria, no question to me. I don't know if they have ever said that, yeah, it's kind of what we were going for, as a joke, as, a little nod. I would not be surprised. I believe some of, the voice actresses and possibly some of, the writers have said, yeah, we're aware, we've read it. I just think it's so fucking cool. I know, a day or two after the episode came out, I saw a comic of Twilight and Starlight, and then they disappear. And then in, the very next panel, it's yeah, if the camera panned a little bit to the right, Little Pip and Blackjack would have been right there. And they're was that Twilight Sparkle? What the fuck? Oh, man. That would have been crazy. Fucking Little Pip showed up for 2 seconds. I would have went nuts. We're okay, sorry, Slice of Life. We have a double S tier. We have a triple S tier episode now. Just give me Little Pip and it's that high. Anyways, they go to Fallout Equestria and Starlight's what the fuck is this? This is what I was telling you. This is what happens if my friends and I aren't together. It is bad future after bad future. You have to stop this. Your spite is literally dooming the world. Do you actually think that's worth it? With Starlight's response essentially being, it's not worth it, but I still don't believe you. I still hate you so much that I don't want to give you this. So Twilight says something, I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's something along the lines of, what fucked you up so bad to make you hate me so much? I get it. I ruined your Aqualia. What fucked you up so bad to make you think that was a good idea in the first place? So you get Glen Glam's backstory, which is, I had a best friend. His name was Sunburst. He was really good at magic. So good that he got his Cutie Mark in it. Then, he was enrolled in Celestia's School for Gifted Unicorns, and I never saw him again. The one friend I had was gone from my life because he was better than me. Because I was inferior, I was left behind. And I hated that. I hated the inequality between us. And it's because he got his damn Cutie Mark in magic. Which, I'm pretty sure is what her Cutie Mark actually is. I don't super know. But anyways, she didn't have it at the time, so I guess I got it. Anyways, point. I learned that day that Cutie Marks and talents make people unequal, and it can ruin friendships and ruin lives. And ever since, I have just been stewing in my bitterness and have been unable to make friends. So I started Aqualia. A place where every pony is equal, and with everyone equal, no one has to feel left behind or forgotten. And you took it from me. So she takes the spell back from Twilight and is like, okay, I'm starting to get sick of our game, Twilight. If I break this spell, if I rip the scroll, you can't use it anymore. You will not be able to follow me and do this shit again. This is our last go through. what I love about what happens next is how Twilight solves this problem. She does not have an Elements of Harmony button that she can push. She does not beat the shit out of her and just, like, overpower her or use violence. She uses what a Naruto fan might refer to as talk no jutsu. She understands that this is a problem that can only be solved genuinely through friendship. That, okay, Starlight, if your genuine problem, and if all of your rage and your bitterness and your spite, it's rooted in your loneliness, that you don't think that you can make another friend because the one time you did, you were left behind. What if I can give you 7? I can give you me, Spike, and the remain 5. And we can genuinely offer you that. Now, if you decide you still want to be a terrible person, like, it's on you at that point. Like, I am giving you a chance to wipe this slate, this fucked up shit. I will wipe this clean. I will forgive you. I will forget it ever happened. If you make a genuine effort to better yourself. And if you do, you will be rewarded with relationships that will last a lifetime. Maybe even beyond. That's one of my favorite little things in Avatar, when Roku was talking to Aang. He's like, you were friends with Gyatso? It's like, yeah. Some relationships are so strong, like, they can even transcend lifetimes. Like, Airbender's fucking beautiful, man. It's like, you will be rewarded with relationships that will last a lifetime. But it's on you. I was someone who did not understand what it meant to have friends, or how wonderful it could be. But I learned. Maybe I could teach you. I would be happy to do so. And Starlight, being offered a genuine chance at meaningful relationships for the first time in her adult life, is scared to take that risk, is also scared that if she fucks this all up, she will literally doom the world due to her own spite. And but I think even more than the guilt and more than the fear is just the, what if Twilight's right and I can be fucking happy for the first time since I was a kid? I have to take the risk. So she does. She accepts Twilight's offer of being a friend. Twilight tells the Remain 5, and they're essentially like, damn, I think Rainbow Dash is like, damn, I knew I was fucking important to the world, but holy shit. I didn't know, like, my Sonic Rain Boom was, like, the most important thing to ever happen in history. Damn, I will take that shit to the bank and cash it. And everyone else is like, okay, are you sure about Glim Glam? I'm sure. Really? Really, really? I bet. Her slate's clean. Let's make a friend. So you get this little song about them being friends and whatnot. It's a montage of them all hanging out with Starlight, and Starlight smiling and laughing and having fun. And it ends with this group, like, I don't think it's a picture. I don't think anyone takes a picture. But the last scene of the episode, again, aside from, like, the credits, is the main 6 all hugging Starlight and her being right in the middle. And them all standing up and looking forward, and it pans out. It's like all of Ponyville sitting there staring forward at the audience. Again, except for Bolt Biceps, who just look at Fluttershy's ass with Starlight right in the middle. And that's how it ends. Oh man, I still have a few more things to say about this episode. First off, this is a phenomenal series finale. It's crazy how well it works as a series finale. Number one, I love the fact, like I said, that Twilight actually solves the problem just by being somebody's friend. Now, again, you can kind of argue that something's very similar happened in Twilight's Kingdom, where, like, she has to befriend Discord, and I feel like it is genuine. However, you save Discord, and that gives you the final MacGuffin. No, the way you beat Starlight is by actually making friends with her. Which is kind of the theme of the fucking show. It's sort of what happened here. The way you beat Diamond Tiara is you became her friend and you understood her. And I like that. It's so fitting for what Friendship is Magic is. There's the fact that we see every major villain, and then Flim and Flam, every major villain in the show up to this point through all those bad futures, which is just kind of a fun way of tying everything together. The fact that part of the main conflict is we are trying to make sure that an important event happens. That is one of my favorite episodes, like Cutie Re-Mark Chronicles, like the backstory, like this is genuinely still one of my favorites. So like, I'm just smiling watching this unfold. But also, it's just kind of nice, like this event that happened that we really saw and talked about in season 1 is coming back as a massive plot point. I think is dope as hell. And when I think about it, I'm like, wait. Twilight had to beat the final boss. Not through bullshit. I don't want to say bullshit because in most season finales, like, no, this actually makes sense. Or like big two-parters. But it's like you didn't have a rainbow Hameha or anything. You had to genuinely befriend someone who was spiteful and hostile and vehemently hated you, and you did it. Not because you could out-muscle her, but because you were able to empathize with someone and make a meaningful bond. And it was still something that at its core was rooted between you, your friends, and your cutie marks. This is a better magical mystery cure. This is kind of what, like, I feel like when I look at this sounds like when Twilight should have become a princess. Because magical mystery cure is like, yeah, like, I finished Star Swirl's spell, and that's kind of cool, but I mean, it is because, like, through us being friends and all our shared memories, like, I get it. I think it works in the context of the episode. It's fine. But I look at this, and I'm like, we see how far we've come with, like, all the different antagonists. How important our friendship is. And I beat the baddie genuinely through the power of friendship. And that's how I became the princess of friendship. Like, no, that actually makes more sense than magical mystery cure. Huh. Also, they have their cutie marks. That's a massive fucking thing that's, like, plot line that's been wrapped up. Rainbow Dash is practically a Wonderbolt now with, with this episode? Which, I mean, next season, it's confirmed. Rarity now has her thing in Canterlot. Applejack doesn't have a plot line. Pinkie Pie is making friends from across the border. Fluttershy is able to have the courage, the courage to try new things, but also the assertiveness to, like, set her boundaries. This is a phenomenal place to stop. We hit episode 100. We fucking peaked. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not me trying to say this is such a good series finale that I'm gonna stop watching. No, it's just, it's kind of wild that about halfway through the show, it had a perfect place to end. And from what I remember, the actual series finale is amazing. I remember loving it. But I even remember watching this and thinking, did the show just end? It even has a nice bookend of, like, Twilight finding someone she wants to take under her wing, now almost literally, the way that Celestia did. It's like the student is now becoming the teacher. Wow, that works really fucking well. Oh my goodness. This is phenomenal. Huh. This is kind of phenomenal. I will say, to me, the biggest weakness is Starlight's backstory. Again, Starlight is kind of too ooga booga anyways. Like, I don't know if I buy that you're that strong, but sure. But the thing is, like, yeah, my one friend left me, and I don't know. It's like, I get it. I get what they're going for. There's that part of me that goes, it's maybe a little bit much that, yeah, he just kind of left and you never reached out to him. Like, you didn't try to find him when you were an adult. Like, okay. But again, also, she was a kid. She was someone who was mentally scarred by her one friend leaving because he was better than her. Like, that's how she saw it. So she internalized it as, I am not good enough to have friends. And it just made her miserable, and it made her angry, and it made her spiteful. I really like that. It's really interesting in the map. You're like, yeah, it feels like a society made by someone who's a lunatic trying to get a power grab, but no, the craziest thing about Starlight is she believes what she's selling. She's a total hypocrite, but she still believes what she's selling. And to me, those do often make for the more interesting antagonists. And it is kind of fitting to me that, yeah, this episode ends with Starlight center fucking stage, because we're about to enter the Starlight Glimmer show. For better or for worse, but, damn, Season 5 is such a fucking banger. This might be my favorite season. This really might be the best season of the show. Holy crap. But, this is done. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I didn't bring my, my terabyte, so I'm not going to be able to upload these till maybe like tomorrow or Thursday, but hopefully sometime by the end of the week, these will be uploaded, these will be time-stamped, and by then, I'll have probably started Season 6. So with that, I will see y'all later, and I will see you in Glimglam's world.